shouldn't even have to do this. Seriously. I shouldn't even have to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, see, this is the intro. We need to talk. That's the intro. We need to talk. Stay tuned.
All power to the people! 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 No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the revolution!
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to discuss something that initially was just a little irritating, right? And as you know, for those of you guys that, operate and do things on social media, the internet has no lack of trolls. It's just a thing. It comes with the territory. If you ever want to build something, whether it's a business, whether it's a platform, whether it's just a private page, you are always going to, at some point, you're going to have trolls. And when I started this show, I understood that. Okay? So when I'm talking about what I'm about to say today, I need you to understand that I'm not ignorant to the fact that that can occur. But today I'm talking to a very specific group. There are a lot of specific groups I'm going to be addressing in all sorts of videos that I'm going to be doing from here on out. This one's for a specific group of people. Conservatives, Republicans, white or black, Latino, Asian, whatever. That right side of the aisle. Let me holler at you real quick. So, I don't know what or why. I kind of know why, and we'll explain it. But I need somebody to explain this phenomenon to me. I just recently had someone who is becoming a very prominent voice in the conservative movement, and they're black, which makes them an extra unicorn. And so a situation went down with them, and I personally reached out to them to verify some information. Mind you, this story has been going viral, and I'm not going to mention specifically what it is because that's not even relevant. The point is, some very specific things were said by this woman that were, she was saying things against Black Lives Matter. I don't care for Black Lives Matter. Most of y'all know that. Saying things against Black Lives Matter and critical race theory and different things. And I just wanted to hit her up in order to make sure, I want to make sure I got all the facts straight. And I was extremely kind. I was, wasn't disrespectful. I was very respectful of her time and in privacy and everything else. But for whatever reason, at the end of the conversation, she wanted to block me because she said my intentions weren't good. And I thought to myself, and I said, maybe that's valid, but here's why that doesn't work. This person in particular has been engaging with and reposting comments from different people that call, I'm gonna use some language that might make you uncomfortable, but it's what's said out here in these streets. Calling her a coon and other racial epithets, cussing her out and all this other stuff. And I watched them. I watched her in particular go back and forth, repost, not repost, say something back, post an article, go back and forth. But when I came to her calmly, just in a biblical manner, to get something clarified, then it was a problem. But this isn't the first time this has happened to me. You see, I've had all types of people doing this that I can remember for at least the past 18 to 24 months, so to speak. A conservative, because 90% of the time they're Caucasian, or maybe they're a different race, but it's always brought up by them first. A conservative will bring up the race conversation or will have something to say about my views on reparations. We will start having a conversation of which I make sure I do a few different things. Number one, I'm calm, cool, and collected because I can't be an angry black man. That's just the plight that we have. Number two, I talk to them in a kind and loving and respectful manner because that's the way that I want to be talked to. But for whatever reason, when I try to do that, I'm met with aggression, disrespect, and spinelessness. What am I talking about? I'm not going to say who this is, of course, but there are politicians and pastors and leaders that I have interacted with that have posted different things. There's one in particular, and I'm going to show you guys this quickly so I can show you how ridiculous this is. A politician who is also a minister had some things to say about reparations. I gently and kindly said that, hey, I don't think that this is a matter that, should be joked about. Now, mind you, this person is a politician. If you were just a pastor just doing your own thing on your own page, I wouldn't really pay you that much attention. But you're a politician, which means if you're trying to get in that public servant space, that means that I now have the right to ask and engage with you in certain ways because you're trying to govern certain things that affect me, right? No big deal. And so anytime that I have these conversations, especially if they're over social media, I will, like clockwork, I always invite the person to either have a face-to-face discussion, an over-the-phone discussion. We could do an Instagram live. We could do a Facebook live. We could have an interview on Berean Talk. And you always say no. Now let me read you this message that I got, because this is the type of stuff that I deal with. But y'all are the warriors that's going to take back America, right? Let's read this. This is a message I got back after inviting this particular individual to come on the show and hash some stuff out, because they said actually some very inflammatory things about me on social media in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people. And I thought, the manly thing to do would be to deal with this in private, but they didn't want to deal with it. So this is what was said to me. By the way, I'm going to read this and I'm going to tell you why this is ridiculous. Brother, I don't do unfruitful arguments. I understand what you are saying, and although you make some valid points, they are outdated and lack current day relevance. There is absolutely no one alive today who is entitled to reparations. That is a divisive argument that only rings in the hollow halls of BLM and Antifa sympathizers. I'm an Antifa sympathizer. We are not oppressed or enslaved except voluntarily. I will not feed that demonically false narrative, nor will I promote its assimilation into a free society. Let me tell you why this is problematic, ladies and gentlemen, because that's not the first time I've gotten a message like that. The same people sending me that message, you will engage with somebody who cusses you out, calls you racial epithets, reposts things and demeans your character and dehumanizes you. And you will, and I'm talking about grown men, grown women, getting on Facebook Live and Instagram Live, and you're in the middle of Twitter and Facebook beefs with people that dehumanize you. But when I ask you for a civil conversation, when I ask you to just hash some things out, when I ask you, hey, can we just even talk about this in a more adult manner, you always say no. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lack of spines in these streets. I'm talking about the conservatives because I'm not talking about just regular everyday people. These are people I've broken bread with. These are people that I've prayed with. These are people that I've fellowshipped with. These are people that I've done community activism with. These are people that I've served with. And you talk real big on the internet, but when I give you an opportunity to hash it out or to be an adult or in some cases be a real believer about it, you turn down the opportunity. And now I got to say something about it, because not only is this irritating for me, but I'm understanding how dangerous this is. And somebody needs to call you out on this dangerous position of cowardiceness. And you only want to talk about how the liberals and the Democrats do it, but you're not self-reflective enough to look at yourself. I grew up around y'all. You understand that? I was raised as a homeschool student in North Carolina. I'm 21. So at the time, that scene was predominantly conservative and predominantly white. I know how y'all get down. I know how you raise your children. So here's what we're going to stop doing. And I think this is in 2nd Trifolations chapter 6, verse 7. Which says, "Thou shalt not invoke the smoke if thine lungs aren't ready to receive smoke." Yes, I know that's ridiculous. But I'm being very serious. I need somebody to answer this for me. I've even had conversations where the most argumentative people I've ever met in my life will go back and forth with me, and I have an answer for everything that you say, and then all of a sudden you get quiet and drop off the map. Switch the topic, don't reply to what I'm saying, but you talking real big on the internet. As we say in the streets, keep that same energy. And these are coming from people, and I'm gonna be very specific about this. These are coming from people that your only education about the black community comes from Candace Owens, PragerU, and the Hodge twins. You don't even know enough to even have a conversation about some of the subject matter that you challenge me on. And I don't say that out of arrogance. I say that as an objective assessment of, number one, what I know, and number two, the fact that in a lot of cases, not all of them, I know more than what you give me credit for. Don't think that I don't notice that you treat me like the uneducated black liberal. Don't think that I don't see that. Somebody need to say something. There's a lot of crickets out here in these streets. Y'all are the same people that talk about everybody else. You're the same people that stormed the Capitol, right? That's a whole nother video in and of itself. Yeah, I'm gonna break that down too. I know exactly why that happened. The scriptures say that and I'll put it down below. And some of you guys know the scripture. That a man's story or a man always seems right until they're cross-examined. And I don't know what it is about you having this fear of being cross-examined if what you believe is true. What's the deal, man? What's the deal? And I say this, not only because it's irritating, but also this hurts your witness as a believer. To be that bold, that abrasive, and then when somebody gently says, "Hey, let's talk about what you're saying. Let's hash this out." Or maybe we've had a conversation for a little bit and you realize that you might have gotten in over your head. Then, we're gonna deal with this too. You start using scriptures about mercy, love, grace, and forgiveness out of context. Let me tell y'all something about what you believe about forgiveness, what you believe about mercy, and what you believe about grace. Americans, conservative Americans specifically. Did y'all forgive Japan for bombing Pearl Harbor? Did you forgive forgive Osama bin Laden for 9/11? No, you didn't. You said, "Praise the Lord," past the ammunition, didn't you? So here's what we don't do. And this is something for me that's hereditary. I got this from my parents, honestly. There's a few things in life I can't stand, and one of them's a coward. So unless you want to be an adult, unless you want to ball up, so to speak, keep your mouth shut. And not even just at me, but anybody else that you come at sideways. So I say this as an open invitation to anybody that wants to have a real conversation. I'm not even talking about a debate. Am I open to a debate, a civil debate? Sure. Because here's what I'm not going to do on this show. I'm not going to come out here boldly defending something that I do not know is 100% true. Will I get everything correct? No. Will I be right all the time? No. And if I ever am, I will be the first one to come back on this show and apologize for anything that I've said false. But the Patriots, you know, the ones that's supposed to save this country, I don't know why kindness and gentleness scares you so much. Why somebody being informed, like actually informed, not just somebody that talks real fast and says statistics. Yeah, don't think I didn't see it. But this is a bigger problem than just me, and that's why I'm talking about it. Yeah. And yes, I did mention the names of some prominent conservatives that are also extremely destructive, problematic, and ignorant. That's no condemnation to them personally. I don't know them personally, but what they do is dangerous. Yes, what Candace Owens does is dangerous. What Brandon Tatum does is dangerous. What the Hodge twins, what they do, that's dangerous. I have scriptures and history to back up that claim. So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you tuning in. I do. For those of you that this was for, I hope you take this as a word of correction and also encouragement, that I'm not saying that you're condemned. I'm not in a position to condemn anybody. I'm not God. But I can call out some crap when I see it. Yeah, y'all like to pick with somebody. Y'all like to mess with somebody that you feel is in a lower weight class than you. I'm not one of them, ladies and gentlemen. So until my next time on the interwebs, pieces and blessings. I'm out.
The revolution will not go better with coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.